You probably want to learn how to make a 2D game, right? If you clicked on this video, so you've come to the right place. In this tutorial I'm going to show you what 2D assets are and how to make them. So let's begin. First, let me explain what 2D assets are and what groups are they divided into. There are two types of 2D assets: sprites and tilemaps. The sprite basically is a 2D image or animation sequence, often used to represent characters, items, or visual effects. The tilemap, on the other hand, is a collection of parts that you've drawn that combine and create bigger assets. For example, like you see in the picture, you can see that here, in this case, this is one part of the tilemap and it represents our drawer. Then, as you can see, there are two tiles. The first one is the top half and the other tile is the bottom. It's divided because when you want your character to move around objects and interact with them, usually you want the top part to be separated because you can put it on a higher layer. So when the character moves in that tile, he passes behind the set plant. For example, if I put it right here, then this part of the plant is actually in front of the drawer, so that's why you want it sometimes separated. As you can see, this is the perfect example for a tilemap. You can see that here are 4 tiles for that wall, and each part is compatible with the others. For example, if I get this part and put it right next to this one, they are completing each other, let's say. They're continuing the chain. You need to keep in mind that when you're making your tiles, they are compatible with each other. So that line doesn't appear, as you can see here. So right now, I'm going to show you how to use it in Unreal Engine. Actually, in a previous video, I've shown you how to import 2D assets and sprites. So basically, the procedure is the same. You have your texture, you go to extract, and you go to sprite actions. You need paper.zd for that to work. You go to extract, it gets you to this plane right here. You click on grid and set your resolution for each of the sprites. And basically it will create 4 images which you combine to create one animation. For idle, I'm usually using just the first frame where it's static and create a flipbook. So the maps are not as complex, the steps are fewer, so it's easier. Basically, you click on your texture, on your tilemap texture, right click it and go to sprite actions. Here you first apply it to the texture settings and then create tile set. And it creates, in this case, school assets tile set 1. Because I already have it, I don't need that. After that, you basically need to right click on the tile set, after which you create tilemap, and it creates your tilemap. I'm going to name it School 1. Let's say that's fine. And at first it's going to be 4x4, but you can increase it by changing the settings in the map width and height. I'm going to set it to 16 by 16 and we have a small map. After that, I'm going to change the separation per layer because my character is a little taller, so I need to change the Z separation in between the tiles and the layers. So I'm going to set it to 8 So basically, here you just start to draw. I'm going to get my 4. Oh, just a moment. I'm going to add 6 layers because that's what my game usually needs. I'm using layer 1 often for floors. And sometimes I'm using it for walls, because the important thing of the walls is actually that you need the bottom part to be below the character. And in this case, first and second layer are below the character. So that's why I'm using them. Then if you want to move behind the wall, you usually need, let's say I'm going to put some walls here for the first layer, so the character doesn't escape. And then I'm going to use the 5th layer to add the upper part of the walls. So now we have our wall, and let's say we want to add props. My desk was quite broken, so I had to quite literally rework it. So now, well, that's quite strange. Well, whatever. It's looking a little strange because this floorboard is quite long. But anyway, I'm going to put these two here. After which I'm going to get the chair, but it's on the second layer. And finally, I'm going to use the desk board on the 4th layer. So here we have two basic desks. So right now we have our small map. Actually, I want to add one more thing, and that's a bulletin board. Actually, this project of mine that was needed for school, so I just have it. I didn't really put much effort in it, but I did my best. So basically I'm going to copy this one, not the cube, but the tile map, and I'm going to replace it with school 1, which is right here. Then I'm going to drag our character, and right here we have our map. So I didn't show you how to make collisions, so that's one thing that I need to add to this tutorial. Now the thing is that when you start you actually don't have any collisions, and to add the collisions you need to go to your map, in this case the tile set, and work on them manually. Now I'm going to show you where I've added collisions. As you can see, this square right here is a collision, and I'm going to show you what it looks like without collisions. So I'm going to delete these ones, maybe the desk one and the chair one. You need to refresh the maps every time when you add or remove any collisions, because it doesn't automatically do it. So refresh, and right now we don't have collisions. So to add collisions, basically we go to our tile, click add box, because I don't know exactly how to work with the other two options. Then we move it around so it fits our needs. I'm usually using the red line, the X9, for my assets, because it adds the perfect height that the character should go. Okay, basically you just add your collisions. Right here, that black box is actually the collision for the invisible walls. And I think I added all the collisions that we need. And I need to add the invisible walls because you need them. Now they're invisible because this is somewhat a finished game on its own, so you can see them, but for debugging reasons in my game I've left them visible. This is basically what the 2D assets are: the sprites, which is the character in this case, which can move and spin and so on, and there's the tile map, which is basically your map. And that's pretty much for the tutorial. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, wishlist my game if you like the content or the art style. And that was for the video. See you in the next one.